I'm not gonna go super in depth here. A couple of things that I have noticed though. Going here, what is it called? Going defensive focuses is kind of bad. Like, you're better off using aggressive focus and then air dominance for the cheaper fighters, and also getting a chief of army, because defense as a value is overkill at some point. If you don't need it, you're only gonna defend against the enemy's attack. So if the enemy has 100 attack and you have 2000 defense, then you're only gonna defend against 100 attack. Whereas if you have 2000 attack, every single attack roll will still be a roll. So don't think I've ever once picked defensive focus. I also usually don't go this deep into army reform early on. So intervention in Spain is a bit of a waste. Now, you did get Spain into the Allies, so that was probably a reason here. Yeah. Apart from this is fine. Usually I would rush. Actually, laissez-faire is so good. Getting the free 150% research bonuses is just insane compared to getting a little bit more Civ factory construction speed. Like, just the amount of time that you save. Just give me a second. There we go. Just the amount of time that you save on getting this is already it already pays for itself, and then you also get the inefficient economy in 2 years. Yeah, in 2 years you also lose 1 stack of the inefficient economy, and then with this one you can get rid of it entirely. Yeah, like, the Freedom Front isn't that I mean, it's 44, so I don't know which focuses you picked, but the Freedom Front I wouldn't have gone with early, because you're still missing on the left your industry tree. That one was probably bypassed. Go with Britain. Apart from this, as France, you can usually just chill and wait for Germany to declare war on you, because you're not getting called in when they go in against Poland or the Benelux. So you can just wait until there's 100% world tension and then join the allies. Strengthen government and defensive stratagem is fine. Getting more stab, which, is just factory output, consumer goods, PP gain. So usually that is one of the first things you do, because you're locked by the 1 year until strengthened government times out. These are fine. Yeah, usually encourage immigration as the better one, just because France indivisible, you can't really do anything for the French Union referendum, so there's a chance that you lose all of your puppets. These focuses are kind of useless. And one thing I like to do personally is also just greed here. Get all of these that I can. Now, I have not played with since they changed France, so you honestly probably shouldn't even care that much about these, if I'm being honest. But these two you should take ASAP, and, well, I mean, yeah. Like, I assume nowadays the meta should be you get these relatively early and then industrial expansion for 4 factories, or 8 factories. Yeah, for 8 Civ factories early. And then you can also get 8 mill factories, and, like, if you want to, you can also get West Africa, but realistically, these 3 don't matter that much, because it's your puppets stuff. Unless you annex the puppets, and, that's so PP intensive, so, yeah. Really wouldn't worry that much about it. So, Army Offense guy is fine, of course. Switching to service by requirement by now is fine. You should delay it as much as you can. These offensives themselves, actually, yeah, let's just go into the stuff and then we can talk about offensives. Yeah, rest here is fine. Like the infantry guy is fine. I would personally also get the commander expert instead of the ground support guy, and then build some mountaineers. Like that's one big thing that you're not doing right now. You are pushing with pure infantry, which is why you're not pushing. Yeah, apart from that, mill guy is fine. Technocrat, you could go with the technocrat instead of the PP guy. Yeah, but honestly, that's fine-ish. The captain of industry, of course, early on would be neat. You can also switch to total mob and then get women in the workforce for more industry, for more industrial power. Apart from this, yeah, doesn't really matter. The refuge to German and Italian scientists you should have done as well. Like that is so insane, getting 10% research speed very early, and you also get special project research speed nowadays, so that's also very nice. Your spies should do something, although you're democratic, so I personally don't really use them. Like stealing industrial blueprints is really nice. Getting more intel, of course, is nice to destroy their planning, their entrenchment, and also get more intel in general. And apart from this, Air Force Department is good. S-Pulse Commander Training. The Forming Department is also something I would go for before I get Passive Defense, Psych Warfare, and Radius and Invisible Ink. Just so you can start decrypting Germany, and if you do that, like if you have it, I think you get like 5% more attack against them passively, and then you can also fire it for the 1 month bonus. So that's really good. And then of course also getting cryptology so the Germans can't do it to you is also good. Special projects. Okay, only cruisers, radars, and MEVs. I mean that's fine. Flamethrowers. Since France, like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really use these things anymore. But if I start with them, flamethrowers are so good. It's just the terrain modifiers you get from them. And then if you get engineers level 2, you can also get the dozer blades on them for 1 more entrenchment. So that's like, honestly, flamethrower tanks, you should have gotten those. MEVs are fine. I would usually get them later on when I start to push, but the flamethrowers are good for pushing and defending, and you know, your main goal is to defend. So that's one thing where you could be faster. As for the rest, yeah, it's honestly, who gives a shit? Like, especially against Germany, you don't really need any of the Navy stuff. Like, you can get submarines to annoy Japan, but other than that, yeah. Like, helicopters are nice. You can get the motherships. The motherships are really strong early on. But yeah, that's about it here. Of course, missing a little bit of gun tech. You do have Marines. Do you even use Marines? I don't think you do. Okay, they are unassigned to a field marshal. Why? We'll get into it in a second. Okay. Of course, engineers also really good for defending. Since you're struggling with manpower, you can also get field hospitals. Field hospitals are expensive, but they can be worth it, especially if you go with mass mobilization, just because you get so much more HP. So if you, I would recommend you just play a Soviet Union game, go mass mobilization, and build 30 width infantry, and then get field hospitals in them, engineers, AA, RT, and helicopters. And then, you know, just have a little bit of fun with it. Apart from this, yeah, I mean, logistics, once you start pushing, I personally wouldn't get signal companies. I'd prefer to get logistics first. They're just so good. Granted, there is nothing where you're struggling with supply right now, but, you know, once you push into a couple of tiles, it can be a big help. Tanks, that's fine if you don't want to play with tanks. I mean, with France, you can just play with infantry and hold and then wait for the US, but tanks would be one of your options to push, of course. Yeah, here you can also get the AA and RT tech. Navy genuinely does not matter. Personally, cannons are really bad for the 1940 tech. Like, if you get cannons 2 are really good, but cannons 1 are not worth it if you already have heavy MGs. Range improvements in aircraft construction, as well as heavy bombs. Usually, I don't go for these 3 either. Range improvements and aircraft construction are good for CAS, but for your fighters, you only need engines, heavy MGs, and survivability studies. Should have gone more into research, but what is it? Like computing. Just because, you know, research bonus is so good, which is also why you usually pick free trade early on, because you don't have that many factories. So you get more research bonus, you get more construction bonus, you get more factory output, and you can't really use your resources anyway this early on. So that's one thing. Radar, of course, getting more radar would be nice. And yeah, that's fine. Since you did say you're struggling with rubber, I mean, we're gonna take a look in a minute, but you should also invest into rubber. Not that it really matters if you're playing with the allies. Okay, now it does. Now it does matter. You only have Ceylon and Madagascar. Yeah, okay, well, because you released Madagascar, you also don't have that much access to it. Probably would keep Madagascar, because I think you get... is it Mad? There we go. I believe... Yeah, you can also... Actually, that's not even that much. But you could get more rubber from Madagascar. Just in case you need it. Rest is fine here. Right. Of course, you could sell crap, but I don't really care. You should import a lot more. Like, you don't have aluminum, right? You're not gonna produce any planes. I assume you produce planes with this aluminum, but you generally wouldn't produce planes. You have oil. You are importing oil, and your fuel stockpiles are almost full. Same with the rubber. I mean, the rubber is fine. But yeah, it's also... You should develop a little bit of rubber and especially import aluminum. Even if it does cripple your industry. Like, it doesn't even cripple your industry that much. If we look at this, and you're also not building anything anymore. So at this point, would be very nice to build refineries or... I mean, more mill factories are always nice. You can get more infrastructure because you're struggling a little bit with the aluminum. There we go. Like, that already, that's another 40, 50, actually 60 aluminum that we would get here. And then, of course, also going down to limited, since, well, if you have once you have to import too many things or you can't import anymore, it is better to switch because your production will suffer too much. Okay, before we take a look at the production, that's fine. You should go a little bit more into support equipment. The armored support, I assume, is in your Marines. Yep, okay. Also would pick 1 less artillery. Okay, but we'll get into the units in a minute. Apart from this... we're doing fine apart from the fact that we don't have fighters. So, right, like production, it's kind of hard to say what you need. At this point, you should easily dominate the German Air Force, which, okay, they still have 7,000. Wait, why are they... What happened here? Oh, I guess they didn't go in because they are still fighting in Europe, so they didn't start Barbarossa. Okay. Yeah, but you should be producing a lot more fighters and getting a lot more equipment. Now let's take a look at the fighters. Yep, the range, like, yes, the ideal fighter doesn't use range drop tanks and instead uses armor plates. I mean, it's fine. One drop tanks don't, you only lose armor by getting these, so it's fine. Of course, should get 1944 tech by now. You could also upgrade them. I mean, nowadays you can even do this automatically, which I assume the save was from before this. But yeah, for the most part, this fighter's fine. You're producing far too much MEVs for what you use them for. And you can get better RT and infantry tech. And you're not producing any CAS right now, but, you know, fighters, of course, are priority. Rest is fine-ish. Of course, if you want to play tanks, that's another matter, but we ignore tanks for now. So if you do ignore tanks, you should definitely spec into Mountaineers. Or at least Marines. Okay, that is not a lot of supply. The logistics companies would be very handy right now. And apart from this, yeah, okay. These are fine for holding. Wouldn't really use them for the push here, unless you're running mass mobilization, because then you can afford it. Otherwise, it's just very expensive. Of course, field hospitals could be added to these, but these are fine. I'm missing the flame tanks, but apart from that, that's fine. I think you're also running the Brigade. Yeah, I mean, you only have a couple of these. These are okay, you know, for holding in a pinch, but you shouldn't use them. Especially not for the pushing. The Marines wouldn't go with 30 width. Like, this is usually what I go for. Also not the signal companies. The signal companies are better. Like, yes, the initiative is also fine on Mountaineers, but on Marines, but it's better to get them on tanks, because then you can be even speedier, and the tanks, you know, have more soft attack than the Mountaineers, the Marines. So, logistics and field hospitals for these. And actually, all right, yeah, you have armored engineers. I was about to say, like, missing engineers. Yeah, apart from this, that's fine. You can also go for a pure Marine stack. I usually get the artillery, because why not? You know, we might as well. So on that front, you're doing okay-ish, but again, you shouldn't push with these. If you want to push with some, you should push with the Marines. And of course, get your commando guy, because the ground support, especially considering you don't have CAS, does not do anything. Apart from this is fine. I would, you know, maybe at this point I would switch away. Like, you're not getting anything from the additional army XP. Proper heritage is fine if you want to train your leaders, or you want the supply penalties, and of course division experience for officer corps. Planning speed, tip of the spear for your, if you want more Marines. This one for quicker planning. So yeah, it's a bit up to you. I wouldn't pick static warfare, at least now. Like, especially down here, the logistical focus would also help you with pushing a little bit more. And I wouldn't drop in Sicily. Like, Italy is so easy to kill if you drop in Rome or Anzio, and then, you know, just cut them up, and then you can just breeze up here. The AI gets confused, and there's like 3 units down here. You get South Italy, and North Italy is piss easy, and then you can push into Lugano, and, you know, then you have Italy here. So, like, if you have the Marines, you honestly shouldn't really struggle with Italy, just because drop into Rome, and if you can cut up Italy, then it's over. Then like the Italian AI is so they cannot deal with this anymore at this point. Right. Apart from this, yeah, this is fine. I did make the comparison for these doctrines, so battlefield support usually shouldn't pick it, especially because you're not running CAS right now. Strategic destruction and operational integrity are much better for fighter-to-fighter combat, and strategic destruction gets it early with the with this one. So check out the video if you want a little bit deeper analysis. You can also switch away from your Milfears at this point. Okay, I'm not gonna get into tactics. That is something completely different. Video will come at some point. I mean, it's done. I just need to publish it. You're also not using Mountaineers, so you should pick shared instructors. And then, of course, you should also invest into Marine Tech, which... Okay, you don't have this. Does France have Special Forces, branch specialization? There we go. You should have picked this focus as well, so you can get your base Marines. Like, considering you're running Marines, you should also get Marine Tech. It's gonna make these landings much easier. Navy, yeah, okay. You did not use anything. You don't have to use anything, so we don't really need to get into that. So, apart from that, that also explains a little bit. Okay, I don't know if you switched it to local autonomy now or later, but you do have a little bit of Italy and Hugo. Right, Madagascar, that's for me. Yeah, but you have a little bit of Italy. Like, you shouldn't. If you keep this, you are gonna take so much damage. And I assume you also lost a bunch to this over the course of the game. Other than that, you should use your fighters a little bit more defensively. And one thing, your fighters here, they only have, like, what, 30% efficiency if you got them in here. There we go. You would have 100% efficiency over Western Germany. And, of course, because the AI is here, you would build some more air bases. But the circle of your planes needs to cover most or the entire air zone for 100% efficiency. Otherwise, they will be, you know, proportionally less efficient and take more damage. And MIOs, I guess we can take a quick look. Doesn't matter, you don't use tanks. This is fine, that's fine as well. Okay, reliability, no. I mean, yeah, okay, that's fine. With this one, you don't have anything good anyway, so... Like, what I do is I don't pick these two just because they make the guns more expensive. So, like, I usually only pick them later on in the game, so it doesn't annoy me anymore, the notification up here, but I also just ignore them most of the time. This one is really good, the production output cost. And, yeah, okay, rest is fine here as well. So, main takeaway, if you had more fighters, you could also push more, because you're pushing into red air right now. Yeah, and then if you want to push into Belgium, it is tricky. So if you want to push into Belgium, you need air support, you need fighters, you need CAS, and then you need good divisions. Like the 25 with Mountaineers or Marines would be fine. Some tank divisions, and then, you know, you need to take one tile at a time. Germany is very strong, so you need, like, especially because they're not grinding against the Soviet Union, you do need to like they're full strength. You need to bring your all and then break through, but these are so stacked, I wouldn't really worry about it. I would first deal with Italy, let Germany grind up on us a little bit more. Take their fighters out. Like, these are the big things. Right now, even if you had good divisions and tanks and everything, you couldn't push. Just because this is too expensive. I think that is everything, though, that we can talk about. 270 factories seems a bit low. But, yeah. Like, you're doing fine. It's just a couple of minor things. So, yeah. Also, air reformer. instead of this guy. Just getting more air XP means you get your doctrines faster, which is much better.